The Creighton Blue Jays are off to the NCAA tournament, coming off an Elite Eight last year, now looking to make another deep March run. They are the 3 seed in the Midwest region. They will take on the Mid-American Conference champions, the Akron Zips, Thursday, 1:30 Eastern time. This game in Pittsburgh, it'll be on TNT. And Coach Mac, Greg McDermott, is with us now. So, Mac, you've obviously been a part of a number of these. I know the emotion doesn't get old. What do people not fully understand about the time after you get selected to the time that you will take the floor Thursday afternoon to meet Akron?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing people don't understand is how hard it is to get there, to get in the tournament. And there's a bunch of coaches that were and teams that were deserving to get in. Several in our league that I was disappointed. That the Big East wasn't represented better on Selection Sunday, and we'll have to. That's a bridge we have to cross, I suppose, as a league. But it's a grind. You find out who you're playing, and your staff goes to work immediately. Watching a lot of games of Akron, and then you've got a couple guys that are assigned to South Carolina and Oregon if we're fortunate enough to get by Akron. So a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of film, a lot of blinking at the computer screen, trying to keep your eyes open. And then at the same time, providing a plan for the team that's simple enough to be able to be executed.
You come into this NCAA tournament winning 7 of your last 9 games. In the Big East quarterfinals, a hard-fought game against Providence, you guys come up short. I'm just curious, different coaches have different theories where sometimes going all the way to a conference tournament final, winning that thing, of course, or falling just short, that can be its own thing. But sometimes the early exit, certain coaches say that helped us. It helped us refocus. It helped us rest. What do you subscribe to? What good can you take from your trip to New York?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we went there to try to win the thing. And, because we've had some guys that have been on the doorstep and we haven't been able to finish it. So, we were disappointed that we lost. Providence played a great game, but having said that, obviously our bench is a little bit short. So we're relying on some guys for some pretty heavy minutes, and we had some bumps and bruises coming out of New York, but for the most part we were relatively healthy. So that's the most important thing this time of year. I think you see the young man from Florida gets hurt in the semis or the finals of the conference tournament, and that's what you don't want to have happen. So while we were disappointed that we lost, we were able to get some rest. We were able to have a great practice on Saturday where we really focused on ourselves. And then we, turned our attention to Akron as of Sunday night.
There's not many guys in the country, Greg, that are averaging at least 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. You have one of them. And he's an Associated Press third-team All-American. As we are talking, this just came out moments ago. It's Baylor Shireman, the All-Big East first-team selection. You've told me before you're so proud of his growth. What impresses you the most about this young man?
First of all, having the maturity, John, to understand a year ago, maybe I do need to come back and being able, a lot of young people, they focus so much on what they can do. And Baylor was mature enough to understand, all right, there's some things that I'm not doing well enough that if my aspirations are really to play in the NBA, I've got to clean these up, and I've got to prove to the folks that are watching that make those NBA decisions that I can be better defensively. I can be a little quicker with the basketball and attack the rim a little bit more. So, he had the foresight to understand that. And it's one thing to understand it. It's another thing to work at it. And he's totally transformed his body. And, I think his improvement in large part is the work that he and our strength coach, Jeremy Anderson, did in the offseason, and the amount of time that Baylor spent in the gym with our staff, working and trying to grow his game and develop his game. So I'm really proud of him. Obviously we rely on he and Trey and Ryan a bunch, but to see the jump that someone makes at the age 22 because they really put their mind to it is pretty cool. And I'm very proud of Baylor.
Your program has always been predicated when you've had great teams, you've had someone steering the ship at point guard. Elite point guard play. Stephen Ashworth has grown as this season has gone on in your system and has played better and better as the season has evolved. Just what's your thought process with him and how big he's going to be for you guys to get back to the second weekend?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be huge for us. You know, his ability to take care of the basketball and get us into offense has been really good this year. He's been elite with his assist to turnover numbers. His shooting numbers the second half of the season in particular have been better. You know, more like what we saw at when he played at Utah State, and we're going to need that from him. But you know, he's an everyday guy. His attitude's positive every single day, whether he's playing well or not playing well. And you know, he has the maturity and the ability to move on to the next play. Um, in a very, like I said, mature manner, which as the point guard, that kind of everybody else kind of feeds off that. So you know, he doesn't have many bad days. He's a glass half full guy, and he's been really important to our success. He walked into a high pressure situation, replacing someone as good as Ryan Nembhard, and he certainly delivered.
Let's turn to your opponent for this first round game. You got John Gross and the Akron Zips. Enrique Freeman averaging over 18 points per game. Ali, you're a little bit familiar with him. He was at Butler and goes back to the Zips. Top 100 defense as well. When you're watching Akron on tape, what are you seeing?
Yeah, you know, like you said, first of all, it starts defensively. You know, they're not easy to get opportunities. They're very physical defensively, which you know, I think the Big East has prepared us for that. And you know, they have four guys, John, that started in a game 2 years ago against UCLA in a you know, a 4-13 game that I believe had, you know, 10 lead changes and 4 ties, and it ended up a close game in the end. So you know, they have tournament experience, which sometimes, you know, teams, programs from mid majors, like, you know, have they gone year after year after year, and do they have that experience? I mean, Akron does, and you have a coach in Coach Gross that's been successful everywhere that he's been, so he understands how to win in the postseason. And we're playing them in their backyard. Somebody told me 144 miles from Pittsburgh, so you know, not often do you have to play a road game potentially in a 3-14 game. So I'm hopeful, you know, we'll have a bunch of fans out there, but this is a very, very good basketball team. We're going to need to be at our best.
This is the elephant in the room question that I have with this particular pod. Matchup aside, the focus is on Akron, but I'm quite literally curious. How often do you talk to Dana Altman?
You know, we text back and forth some. You know, obviously I used to coach against Dana, and we were competitors. I was at Northern Iowa, he was here, so obviously you get in some recruiting battles. But since I've arrived at Creighton, I've gotten to know Dana's family. His dad, you know, his brother Dirk comes to all of our luncheons. So, and I respect the job that Dana did. I mean, Dana did the heavy lifting with the Creighton program when he came here in the early 90s, when, you know, there was 2,000 people at the games, and you know, he did the hard work, and you know, we're the beneficiaries of the work that he did. So, you know, Dana is still beloved here in Omaha, and obviously we're 30 years, and there's only been 2 coaches at the Creighton program, Dana for 16 and me finishing my 14th year. So you understand, I mean, everyone knows how I feel about Omaha, and you know, Dana feels the same way. He's still very tied into this community with a lot of friends. He's going to have a bunch of people in blue that are going to hang around and watch that second game. He's going to have, it's going to feel like a home game for him because they'll be cheering on the Ducks. But you know, tremendous respect for him, and obviously he's one of the best coaches in the country when it comes to conference tournament play. Going back to his time in the Missouri Valley Conference, you know, he did so well, and he was so dominant when he was coaching at Creighton, at Arch Madness in St. Louis, and he's carried that over to Oregon and has done a terrific job with that program, obviously including a Final Four appearance.
Meanwhile, Mac, you got TJ Otzelberger at Iowa State, Darren DeVries at Drake, Eric Henderson at South Dakota State, and all 3 of them are going to be in Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, it's old home week, and I'm not going to be here. And then, you know, Steve Lutz at Western Kentucky worked for me for 7 years. He's in the tournament too, so just couldn't be more proud of those guys. It'll be fun this weekend. I mean, they're obviously all close to home. I think it's you know, Coach DeVries told me the other day prior to the selection, it would be a dream come true for him to be able to play an NCAA tournament game in Omaha with Tucker, his son. You know, Tucker was, you know, he was 6, 7 years old, or when I first got here, maybe younger than that, running around rebounding basketballs for the guys. So to see that all come first full circle, and for them to have that opportunity, and obviously, Coach Hendo worked for TJ at South Dakota State, and we were all together at Iowa State, and Hendo played for me as well. But TJ's done a terrific job. We played them in a close scrimmage in October, and the progress that Iowa State team has made throughout the season is incredible. And, Eric Henderson just continues to win at South Dakota State. You lose Baylor Shireman 2 years ago, and your program doesn't miss a beat. You continue to win conference championships, and very proud of all three of them. And that'll be hard games for me to watch when they're playing each other, because obviously you want the best for each and every one of them.
Last but certainly not least, Max, speaking of Creighton and what you've built and all you've done, 11 days ago it gets announced you sign a long-term contract extension with the school. Why?
I'm comfortable here, John. I'm happy here. And, the places and communities are about people. And, I have so many wonderful friends that, also happen to support our program, that I really enjoy, and I enjoy my time with them in Omaha. And, it's a fit for me. And, are there other places it could be fit? Yeah, probably, but you don't know that for sure going in. And, I know I'm happy here. I know I'm content. We know, what we're going to have to do moving forward. We're going to lose some important pieces of this team. We're going to have to replace them. And generally new jobs are very similar to that. But, I'm just excited to be here, excited to continue growing this program and building this program. And hopefully there's a lot of good things to come in the future.
Creighton, Akron, Midwest region, Thursday in Pittsburgh, TNT, 1:30 Eastern time. Ryan McDermott, congratulations on that extension. Best of luck to your team on the big dance floor.
I appreciate you, John. Always good catching up.